أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي عرفني نفسها ولم يتركني أمي على القلب والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبو القاسم محمد ومن المحبين وإترة الطاهرين أما بعد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفرقانه الحميد وقوله الحق بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هل ننبئكم بالأكثرين أعمالا الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا وهم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. صلوات. Mu'minin, the ayah that I began with is very pertinent to the subject matter at hand, and the subject today is about time, which is a capital of life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Kahf that shall we show you the losers, those whose efforts in the affairs of this world have been lost. And then he reminds us what is more is that they think that they're doing good deeds. Reflect upon this verse of the Holy Quran to say that the Quran is talking about a group of losers whose entire life has been wasted, and they're harboring under the delusion that they've been doing good works. We pray to Allah that we are not from that group. And what we've been talking about in the last 2 days is really to have, number one, intentional living, and number two, living with a purpose. For any project to succeed, be it a business project, be it an education project, there needs to be an intention to do X. Having had the intention, then the idea is to make that into a reality, you need to work at it. It is not going to come and fall from the sky. It means that you struggle and you put in an effort, each time checking, as we have in the corporate world, to say what are the critical success factors, are we meeting them, are we meeting the milestones, are we getting to the goals, are we utilizing the resources. And if we are going to do all that much for dunya, which is a short period, how much more should we be concerned about the hereafter, which is a much longer period? Mawla Mutaqiyan Imam Ali alayhi salam has said, and I quote, that earn for this dunya for as long as you are going to live in this world, in this dunya, and earn for akhirah to the degree that you're going to live in the hereafter. And therefore, as common sense would dictate, that if this span of life is shorter than the life in the hereafter, what should our focus and our efforts be towards investing both here and in the hereafter, in the degree of that effort that we need to put in? And one of the key elements in this is that in order to build for the hereafter, this is what all faiths believe in order to build for the hereafter, what one needs to do is to invest one's time well while your limbs are working, while your mind is functioning, while you have the faculties that Allah has provided you to ensure that you fulfill your commitments for the purpose for which you have been sent here. So it's intentional living, it's purposeful existence, which can only come about having made the intention to have purposeful living. And I'm trying to connect all the 9 lectures that we have one after the other. It really builds upon the concepts that I'm presenting. That having done the first 2 or thought about it, we need to use the commodity that we have, which is called time, in the best possible manner. And inshallah we will continue to talk about that. But when we go through these presentations, and sometimes people feel, and especially I'm addressing my elders here, कि आमा धर्म क्या छे आ बधी वातों में? Where is faith? Where is the connection to faith when we talk about some of these things which may seem worldly? But there is every connection. But at the same time, the emotion of azadari is a fundamental part of how we use our time. Shaykh Ustad Mutahari wrote this beautiful quote. He said, and I will read it because it's something worth imbibing when we are trying to understand the philosophy. And I'm addressing my young people to say, what is in it for this azadari for me? What is this emotion? Because the logical mind say, well, an event that happened 1400 years ago, how do I connect with it today? And how can I get emotional about it so that I am able to imbibe this? Shaykh Ustad Mutahari talks about the value of every tear that we shed. We heard some beautiful renditions, and the azah is a developing thing. The first Marsiya was recited in Sham in the Arabic language. It moved to Farsi, moved to Urdu, to many other languages, to the African languages, Indian languages, and so on and so forth. And of course it has come to the English language, and we hope that our young generation who are now masters at this language will come up with beautiful renditions to give us the emotive part of Karbala so that we can shed those tears. And the tears have a value. Ustad Mutahari says that if one tear that you shed for him should signify harmony between our souls and his spirit, meaning Aba Abdullah, Imam Hussain al-Islam, it represents a brief flight that our spirit makes along with the spirit of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. I want to take you to that space to say that people are looking for spirituality. People look for spirituality. I don't know here, but where I come from, in the United States, people will pay thousands upon thousands to attend a camp by some yogi somewhere or some Sufi guru or whoever to say, I am empty, I need spirituality. I'm trying to purchase spirituality. Well, spirituality cannot be purchased. Spirituality can only emerge from one's emotions. In Mu'mineen, there is nothing better, nothing more superior than the spiritual connection that tear gives us. As Ayatollah Mutahari says, it is that brief span of flight that you have with the spirit of Aba Abdullah, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, that when you shed a tear, you are going on the spiritual high, that spiritual journey. It does something to you. It must be felt. It must be felt within. It is not mechanical. It is not something that you can buy. It is something that you can imbibe. That spirit of Karbala, when your spirit, can you imagine the tawheed, the cognition, the value of the spirit of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, that I have the opportunity to fly spiritually for a brief moment. It is through the tears, it is through the azah of Abu Abdullah alayhi salam, and every minute, mu'mineen, that we spend here, and every minute we think about it, is itself a spiritual flight. We pray to Allah that He gives us the tawfiq to be able to imbibe that, inshallah. Salawat. Because the tears, you know what they give us? It is a prescription for reform. We're talking about intentional living. We're talking about purposeful living. The idea is to reform, to be a better human being one day later, 1 month later, 1 year later, that I make an ahad with Abu Abdullah, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, to say that I will be a better human being by next Muharram, because I have now given you a promise that I will improve myself. This is a prescription for reform, because with this tear, if it can infuse one little glow of the valor that was shown in Karbala, the bravery. Salawat. If we can have a single particle of his free nature to say whatever strength may be in front of me, there may be thousands. We are only 72, but our free nature of worshipping and obeying Allah and none but Allah, the pure philosophy and the pure spirit of Tawheed, if we can get just a little bit of his free nature, a particle of his faith, a particle of his taqwa and piety, a small spark of Tawheed, then such tear, mu'mineen, has infinite value. It cannot be valued, it is priceless. This is the meaning of the azah of Abu Abdullah, Imam Hussain alayhi salam. And that is why, mu'mineen, we are here night after night. Around the world, it does not set, the sun does not set, on the azah of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. That is why we are all here. And we need to savor the moment. It is not mechanical, it is not just another ritual. The moments need to be savored, because this is the most valuable use of our time, a subject that I'm going to be talking about. So we talked about the first two. Today we'll talk about the time is life's capital, and then we'll go through the other subjects that we have. So, what is the most valuable thing on earth? People have different values to different things, whether it's children, whether it's family, whether it's diamonds, whether it's art, whatever it may be. Everybody may have a different answer to say what is the most valuable thing that I think is on earth. And this answer can be in multiple ways. It could be food, it could be clothing, fabulous homes, health, wealth, all the good things that we desire. If you did not have the time to enjoy any of that, then all that has little value or no value. If you have no time, then you have nothing. Therefore, time is far more valuable in order to possess, in order to enjoy, in order to partake of all the good and all the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Mu'mineen, a beautiful home is a blessing, provided it's earned in a halal manner. A beautiful life, a beautiful family is a blessing that Allah has given us. Everything that we desire to appreciate, a beautiful piece of art is a blessing. All these are blessings. But above all, the biggest blessing that we have been given is a blessing of time to be able to enjoy all that, to be able to partake of that blessing. And indeed in Surah Al-Asr, which we all know, Allah swears by the dawn of time, wal asr, innal insana lafi khusr. By the dawn of time. Now, what do the Mufassirin tell us? Some say it is the time of Asr, which implies the continuity of time. Some say that this is a period of the ghaiba of Imam alayhi salam. There are so many different connotations of the very word wal asr when we begin that surah. When you try and contemplate on the multiple dimensions that the Quran teaching us, it boggles the mind to see how many meanings can there be. Literally, in Arabic, it actually means to wring something out, as if you are wringing out a piece of cloth and removing the liquid or the water from it. It also has a sense of unfolding the future by squeezing the past. And you know about history, they say man learns from history that he learns nothing from history. That is sometimes our fault to say we don't look back. But this is a sense of unfolding of the future of the past. This is what time means. But you know what we have is that phrase that we have no time. I have no time. I don't have time to do anything. How many times do I say that? And we have all these gadgets that we have invented. Tasks that used to take months can now be done in seconds. So we should have been less busy, right? All these tasks, the time that we saved. In fact, what has happened is that we've become even busier. And with the advent and the invention of the iPhone and the mobile phone, we now have two new diseases that have come into the healthcare practice. One is the crouching neck, where you have a special condition. And the other one is addiction. Kids are being sent into camps to say that we must remove this iPad addiction from our kids. This is what technology has brought us. It's a double-edged sword. It's how you use it. But gadgets save you time, and tasks that used to take us months, yet life is more hectic than ever, and we're busier than ever. We go back to the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We talk about time management. There are gurus who tell us more about time management. Well, Imam Musa Kazim alayhi salam has given us a beautiful prescription. He said, divide your time into 4 parts. This is time management from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Imam says, supplications to Allah, our ibadat, 1/4. Earning a living, 1/4. He then says, spend time with trusted people who show you your defects and treat you sincerely, meaning good friends, good family, that you actually have social relations. You know, when a community comes together as friends, not as mere visitors to the same Imam Barga, that you come and sit in a majlis, you listen to the majlis, you sit in your car and you drive back and you're back into whatever you are. Mu'mineen, a community that keeps together, a community that interacts, a community that converses, a community that shares its good and bad things, a community that helps each other. This is what we call, and we'll be coming to that subject in some depth, but there are 2 kinds of societies. You have an accidental society, you have an intentional society. The accidental society is people sitting in a plane, they all want to go to the same destination, they will sit next to each other, maybe have some small talk. As soon as you are at the baggage claim, you're gone, there is no interaction, nothing further. You are in accidental society. You came together because of circumstances. An intentional society is one where people come together and say we have a common goal, we have a common mission, and this is what we are going to do together. This is an intentional society. Sometimes an intentional society accidentally, excuse the pun, but accidentally becomes an accidental society. Because those connections are lost because we are now so busy. I don't have time to talk to anybody. Yeah, I'll go to Dua Kumail, I'll finish it and I'll be out. I need everything done in 1 hour so I can get back to whatever I'm doing. Mu'mineen, we come here. The energy that we have must be savored. Every moment must be savored because this is a good use of time. And then Imam says, legal pleasures. You like playing golf? Go play golf. You like to go to museums? You would like to have recreation, skiing, whatever it is? Imam says legal pleasures. So the idea is to have that balance in one's life, to say that you have a quarter of each. And if we remember this formula and apply it in our lives, these are not words of any mortal. These are the words of a Masoom. These are the words of Aimma alayhimus salam. Sometimes what we do, Mu'mineen, is we place the Aimma alayhimus salam on a pedestal. We glorify them. Sure, we must respect them, we honor them for the personalities that they were. But by only glorifying and not taking from what they have taught us, what are we doing? We are shortchanging ourselves. It's not going to impact them, it's going to impact me. Yes, we put our Aimma alayhimus salam at a level much higher than any other human being, but if you are not going to understand what they are saying, if you are not going to apply as to what they have taught us, then what have we gained? And this is a lesson. So time management is really life management. The Blessed Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, and I quote, he said, value 5 things before 5. 5 things before 5. And what are those? He said, value your youth before old age. When you're strong, when you can move, and when you think that you can change the world, go for it. Don't wait. When you want to do some good work, don't wait to say, well, when I retire, I'm going to do this. The Prophet says, value youth before old age. Put your youth, your time to good use when you are young. Health before sickness. I take my body for granted. That machine that I've been given, my car, I will service 15 times in its lifetime. For 100,000 miles, probably go into service 15 times at least, on average. I'll make sure that it's looked after. What about this only body that I have got? How well do I look after it? When I have good health, I take it for granted. When the chest pain comes, and I'm in the ambulance, and God, protect us from that, and then after being treated, I come home, I'm a reborn human being. I go for walks, I watch my diet. I do everything good that needs to be done for the body. After I got sick, when I had health, if I had done it, I would have been much better. The Blessed Prophet is saying health before sickness. Free time before being occupied. You don't know what is going to come down the line. You may get busy doing whatever. There may be a calamity. Right now you have some leisure time. Right now you have some good time. The Blessed Prophet says, value your free time before you get occupied with whatever you're going to get. And he said, wealth before poverty. You have wealth today. It could go tomorrow. We have seen it. Wealth one day, one fever will take it away. An Iranian poet has said, one fever will take away, all the beauty, and one accident will take away all the wealth you won't even know. So the Prophet says, wealth before poverty. Use it. Make sure that there is an abundance of good works that you're able to do when you have the wealth. People get worried to say, well, all these inheritance things, and I'm now confused, and I don't want to go into that particular controversy. There are better scholars than me who can explain to you. But the idea is, well, in terms of division, why is it the girl gets so much and the boy doesn't get it, the boy gets more, the girl does not, and there are rationale for it. And so what can we do? Well, my answer is, why don't you give away what you have while you're alive? There's no restriction. You can give whatever you want to your daughter and give both of them equal share while you're alive. After you die, it's not in your hands anymore. So the idea is wealth before property as to how you divide your wealth, and life before death, naturally. It is a time that we use. So, let me share with you a very brief lesson in time management. Is this jar full? What do you think? Does it look full? Okay, it's not. It's got small pebbles in there. It's full. But you can squeeze some more in. Put some sand in it. And the little spaces will be filled up by sand. And then you go one step further and you put some water in it. It will still take some water. I don't have time is not an excuse. There is always time that you can find to do some good works. It's a matter of what you prioritize. Where are you at when you are talking about the jar being full? So what lessons do we learn? That no matter how busy you are, you can always fit some task in your schedule. The pebbles are there, which are the main things. So you now have sand you can. The greater truth on this is that if we do not get our values straight and attend to the biggest things of value first, we'll never be able to fit them all in. Imagine if you put water in first and then you put the sand in, will you then be able to fit the pebbles? It's going to be difficult. And therefore we need to prioritize as to what we do. My big question is, have we identified our rocks, our pebbles, our sand, and our water? What is my priority? Work, children, family? The bigger question is, where does Allah fit in all this? Where do you fit Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In the 17 rakats that you do? Or is there something more? Where do you have your priority? Well, although He cannot be contained in anything, I say that Allah should be the jar. Because everything needs to be God-centric. Because if we do not have things which are God-centric, then everything else becomes a priority. If my priority is that I have been sent here for the purposes of ibadah, for the purposes of obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it becomes a duty. It becomes a priority that my life is God-centric. And the corollary to that, and we'll go through that in the days to come, in terms of how can it be. But for now, the clock of age, the subject, that this is a gift. Time is a gift from the Creator. And if we use it correctly, then we will see. If we don't, then maybe we sit back at the age of 65, 75, 85, whatever God gives you, and you sit back and say, what did I do with my time? I could have done better. I could have got a better education. I could have done something else. I could have prayed more. I could have done more good for charity. But now that time has gone. Well, I use the famous and the most popular phrase, not here in America, certainly in the US, show me the money. Anytime something happens, they show me the money, right? This is what the mantra is of the corporate world. Well, let me show you some money then, and let some eyes light up, because when you talk about money, people wake up a little bit. There's a bank that I know of that credits your account with $86,400 every day. Every evening, that balance is deleted. $86,400 a day. Every evening is deleted, it's zero balance. What would you do with that $84,600? You would spend it, you'd invest it, but you'd make sure that not a single dollar is actually left unused, and you'll make sure that you'll use it to the best of your ability, and if you're wise, you'll invest it wisely. Well, I have news for you. You do have such a bank. It's called the time bank. Allah gives us 86,400 seconds every day. It carries over no balance. It allows no overdraft because there is no overdraft. What would you do if it's going to be deleted every night? Every day you open a new account. If you fail to use those deposits, then aren't you making the biggest mistake of your life? Every second. Yes? I just invite you, look at your watch for just 10 seconds. Bear with me. Indulge me. Look at your watch for just 10 seconds and take a deep breath. You feel the time ticking away, that 10 seconds? Well, that 10 seconds will never come back. You've lost it forever. There is no going back of that 10 seconds that you're looking at. The clock of age just reduced your life by 10 seconds. Now imagine if you are that conscious of the hours that go by, of the days that go by, of the months that go by, where you have not valued the time that you have, then the clock of age is going to catch up with you. Just for a little bit lighter, just a little bit of levity, because, the communication is that you also engage with each other in creating some thoughts through some humorous ways too. And there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just giving you a perception, because one needs to feel some of these things. So if you want to realize the value of 1 week, ask the editor of a weekly newspaper how valuable that week is when you have a weekly schedule. I've been there. I used to be in that position as an editor of a weekly magazine to see what it takes. To realize the value of 1 hour, ask Layla and Majnu who are waiting for each other as to how long that hour would be. To realize the value of 1 year, ask a student who failed a grade to say now it's 1 year to be repeated all over again. To realize the value of 1 month, ask a mother who gave birth to a premature baby. So how valuable that month would have been. To realize the value of 1 minute, ask somebody who just missed a train by just a minute. Is to wait another 20 minutes before the next one comes. And the value of 1 second, ask somebody who just avoided an accident. If you were there 1 second before or 1 second after, you would have totaled your car, for example. Ask somebody who has just avoided an accident. And going down even further, value of 1 millisecond, we'll ask the person who won a silver medal in the Olympics. It was 1 millisecond between gold and silver. Time has value. And each opportunity missed is felt, if we can understand that. So friends, yesterday, as they say, is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why it's called what? The present. It is. Living in the moment, living in the present. Yes, one needs to think about the past, one needs to look at the future. But if we fail to live in the moment, we are doing 100 things at a time, multitasking. We're famous for multitasking. Although there is research that women can multitask, men cannot. Men cannot sort of walk and chew gum at the same time. This is known. The point is, we try to multitask, we start thinking about so many different things. We're not in the present moment. You're sitting down to eat. Your wife has cooked you the most beautiful meal. You are worried about the bank balance. You're not enjoying that meal because you're not present at the moment. You are sitting in the majlis here. You are fully concentrating, then you are enjoying it. You are partaking of the spirituality. But if I am not present in the moment, if I am thinking about different things, I cannot be in the present. I'm losing time. I'm losing that valuable thing. And when that happens, the Blessed Prophet said that one who wakes up with his whole attention directed to the world is cut off from Allah, and God shall make 4 qualities accompany him. The occupation of the mind, of one's time, it's all the attention is directed towards dunya. I talked about being God-centric before. That the time and the jar that we have, if it is God-centric, if it is not, then this is what the Blessed Prophet has said. That if we are not God-centric, then you have endless sorrow. And I don't want to go into details because of the time consciousness that I have. Never-ending occupation. Have you ever felt this? To say, well, one thing after another, it never ends. It never ends because contentment is not there. A neediness which is never relieved and a hope which is never achieved. Each time there is something else that comes up. A young man graduates from college, buys his first home. Now he wants a bigger car because there's a family. And now he wants more prestige, therefore he goes for a bigger home. Nothing wrong with doing that. But the idea is it's a never-ending occupation that we have. The only thing that is going to cure it is to make sure that one becomes God-centric, and this is a lesson that we learn. So, I go with the NASA symbol because they took us to the moon. Some Muslims didn't believe that we could actually go to the moon. Bin Baz, the Mufti of Saudi Arabia, said that the earth is flat. The earth is flat. There is no such thing as somebody who could go to the moon. Yet NASA took us to the moon. And this is what NASA says. It says, do it now, and do it well. So, time is free, it's priceless. You can own it, you can use it. You can't keep it, you can spend it. But once you have lost time, then you can never ever get it back. So Mu'mineen, this is what I say, that time. So now that we have put some value to time, I very quickly go to say that there is a time to act also, not just philosophize. So the time to act is from making excuses to providing ideas, whether you're in the corporate world, whether you're in community service, wherever you are. Stop making excuses and start providing ideas. And this is more so for the Muslim community than any other community. Each time somebody else is the enemy. Each time somebody else's fault that Muslims are not progressing. Each time we have an issue, there's somebody else's controversy or conspiracy that is keeping us back. I say that from making excuses to providing ideas, that how does the Muslim world, how do the young Muslims of today who are educated are going to provide the thought leadership to the rest of the world, bringing in the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim assalam into the mix to say this is a rich culture that we have. From focusing on faults to finding solutions. From blaming others to analyzing ourselves, Mu'mineen. Time to act is from making mere promises to fulfilling those commitments, from letting things happen, allow somebody else to do it for us, determine our future. We need to make things happen ourselves so that we use time from the shackles of the past to the possibilities of the future. This is our call, and this is how we use time. Because time is a witness to life and death, to what has passed in history, its success and failure of individuals, and the rise and fall of communities. And this is why the Prophet has said, do not abuse time. Ponder on that for just a second. You know, let me tell you, we are all in a line. We don't like lines. There's no nexus in the line that we have. You can't just go through the border with your nexus card in a minute and come out and get back. There is no nexus card for you here. We are all in this line without really realizing it. We don't know how many there are before us and how many there are after us. But we cannot move to the back of the line or the front of the line. In this case, we'd probably be more interested in moving to the back of the line. And I'll share that with you in a minute. We cannot even step out of that line. We are in this line, whether we like it or not. We cannot avoid this line at all. So, so while we wait in this line, take a moment to count your priorities. Make somebody, or make sort of a nobody feel like a somebody. Make your voice heard. Make small things big, make someone smile, make the change, make up, make peace. Make sure you have no regrets. Make sure you're ready. And above else, make sure you tell your people that they are loved and your faith is strong. Do you know which line this is? Everyone is in that line to go to his qabr. Everyone is up. We don't know who's going to go first. But for sure we are in a line. We are in that queue to go. Now what we do while we are in that line is going to be up to us. So I'll just share this last point where the Blessed Prophet has told us that by death, the scroll of life gets folded forever, apart from three groups who are the exceptions or exempted from it. Once you die, that scroll of action is closed. The Blessed Prophet gave us a hope. He said, a scholar who has left behind a scholarly work as a reminder for the guidance of people, he will continue with sawab-e-jariyah. A good and a pious offspring who will remember their parents doing supplications with goodness and also do good things. So a good book, a good offspring, and a person who has left behind endowments, left behind some legacy where people continue to benefit. It could be a well, it could be a mosque, it could be anybody. So Mu'mineen, let us not lose time and ensure that we have at least one out of this legacy. We work with our offspring to make sure that that tarbiyah and the nurturing takes place. Because Maulana Rumi said, when we are dead, seek not our tomb in the earth, but find it in the hearts of men. It is not big tombs. It is how many people you touched in your life. It is how many people you helped. That when you go away, people will remember you. People will remember you with fondness. This is sawab-e-jariyah. And Mu'minin, this is indeed the sawab-e-jariyah that we have benefited from the teachings of Aimma alayhimus salam, and indeed Karbala is an inspiration for us. Today, traditionally, we remember different personalities, and today we remember a friend of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. There was a conversation that took place, and because I don't like to paraphrase, I will read the conversation as it has been reported in the books of Maktal. Bibi Zainab salamullahi alayha is asking her brother to say, oh brother, thousands of soldiers are gathering to fight you. We have hardly 72 men with us. Do you not have anyone to come to your help? And Imam says, oh Zainab, oh my sister, falsehood can buy many supporters, but truth has only a few friends. The soldiers on the other side have been bought. They prefer happiness in this world than in the world hereafter. My 72 truthful men prefer happiness in the world hereafter, and that is why they are with me. That night it is said that Imam Hussain alayhi salam writes a letter to his childhood friend Habib ibn Mazahir. And the contents of letter needs to be read in thoroughness to say, how does a friend write to another friend during this period? And he says, from Al-Hussein, the son of Ali, to Habib ibn Mazahir, a scholar and a jurist. This was the stature of Habib ibn Mazahir. And he said, oh Habib, you are aware of my relation to the Messenger of Allah and know me better than others. You are a man of integrity, a free man. Don't hold yourself back from coming to my assistance. May the Messenger of Allah reward you on the day of judgment. Oh Habib, your childhood friend has called you. Your master needs your help. What are you waiting for? Go Habib, before it's too late. These were the words of the wife of Habib when he reads the letter and he moves on. On the other hand, in Karbala, as Habib was coming from Kufa, Imam alayhi salam during the battle was distributing the different weapons to different companions of his, and he keeps one standard aside. And when he was asked as to who is the bearer, Imam says, the one who will hold this standard is on his way. The bearer of this standard is a man none other than Habib ibn Mazahir. And when Habib reaches, look at the spirit of this man of advanced years. And he said, even though I have become old and feeble, whenever I look at you, youth begins to flow in my veins once again. On hearing the cries of joy coming from the companions, Bibi Zainab Salamullahi alayha inquires to say, what is that? Who has come? What is this sound? And when Bibi Zainab sends the salutation upon Habib ibn Mazahir, Habib cries out to say, what time has come? What time has come? Oh, sorrow be my life. Who is Habib to receive the salutations of Lady Zainab for this salutation? Mu'mineen, I don't have the eloquence to recite the Masahib. Suffice it to say that after the battle of Karbala, when Habib's head was also tied to a horse's neck, a young boy continued to follow the horse whenever it went. And one day, the man who was riding that horse asked this young boy, whose name was Qasim, to say that, why are you staring at that head? And the young boy says that this head, this severed head is the head of my father, Habib ibn Mazahir. Please give it to me so that I can bury my father's head, Mu'mineen. And just imagine the time that maybe Habib may have beckoned to his son to say, oh my son Qasim, you are thinking of burying my head. What about the head of Hussein and all the other companions? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. مومنین، جب حبیب نے مظاہر گھوڑے پہ بلند ہوتے ہیں اور ایک آواز دی اپنے دوستوں کو کہ وہ وقت ابھی آ گیا، اے زہیر آ جاؤ جس کے لیے ہم اور تم زندہ تھے، اور اب ہم دیکھیں کہ حسین پہ کوئی آنچ آنی نہ چاہیے۔ مومنین سب اصحاب سامنے کھڑے ہو گئے، ارے تیر اپنے سینے پہ لیتے گئے۔ مومنین جنگ چلتی رہی مگر اس وصیت کے باوجود میں روز عاشور کا ایک منظر پڑھنا چاہتا ہوں۔ مومنین، امام حسین نے دائنی طرف نگاہ کی، بائیں طرف نگاہ کی، اور وہ اکیلے تھے اور دیکھتے تھے کہ وہ انصار جو کبھی یہاں تھے ان میں سے کسی کو نہیں پایا۔ سب کی لاشیں نیزے اور تلواروں کے سامنے خاک پر پڑی ہوئی تھی۔ مومنین، بے قرار ہو کر حسین نے شاید یہ محسوس کیا ہو کہ کہاں ہیں میرے وفادار اصحاب؟ ارے ابھی تو کہہ رہے تھے، ابھی تو مدد کے لیے کہہ رہے تھے، ارے میرے اصحاب آپ کہاں ہیں؟ میں میرے بچپن کے دوست حبیب کہاں پہ ہیں؟ کہاں ہے مسلم ابن اوسجا؟ امام نے اپنے دم بھر کے یہ کہا کہ آئے میرے اوپر تیر برس رہے ہیں، بدن سے لہو کا دریا جا رہا ہے، اے میرے اصحاب کہاں پہ ہیں؟ تم میری خبر نہیں لیتے۔ مومنین، افسوس کہ جوابوں میں دشمنوں نے تیر سے فرزند رسول کو زخمی کیا۔ انا للہ و انا الیہ راجعون۔ آخر عرض کربلا کانپ گئی، زینب کی نظر پڑی اور فرزند رسول پر خنجر چل رہا تھا۔ انا للہ و انا الیہ راجعون۔